Nepal, the small Himalayan nation known for its breathtaking mountains, ancient culture, and resilient people, is now at the center of one of the most dramatic political crises in its recent history. Over the past weeks, protests have erupted across the country, leaving dozens dead, hundreds injured, and a government in collapse. What began as frustration over censorship has spiraled into a full-scale uprising, one that has shaken the very foundation of Nepal's democracy. In this video, we'll break down what exactly is happening in Nepal, why this crisis exploded so suddenly, and most importantly, what possible solutions could bring peace and stability back to this beautiful yet fragile nation. Stay tuned, because the story unfolding in Nepal today could reshape the country's political future for decades to come. It all started with a single decision by the Nepali government, a move that would ignite widespread outrage. In early September 2025, Prime Minister KP Sharma Oli's administration announced a ban on major social media platforms, including Facebook, YouTube, and X, formerly known as Twitter. The official reason? The platforms refused to register with the government under new digital compliance laws. But for millions of young Nepalis, the ban felt like censorship, an attack on free speech. In a country where nearly half the population is under 30, social media isn't just entertainment. It's communication, it's activism, it's opportunity. And for many, it's a lifeline. Overnight, frustration turned to fury. Students, professionals, and activists poured into the streets. They weren't just demanding the internet back. They were demanding accountability, transparency, and real change. This movement quickly became known as the Gen Z Uprising. It wasn't just about apps. It was about corruption, political favoritism, and the decades. But no one expected what happened next. On September 8th, police clashed with protesters in Kathmandu. Tear gas filled the air, stones were thrown. Then, the unthinkable. Security forces opened fire on the crowds. At least 17 people were killed in just one day. Many shot in the head and chest. Hundreds were injured. The violence only fueled more anger. Instead of backing down, protesters intensified their demonstrations. By September 9th and 10th, the unrest had spread nationwide. Government offices were attacked. Fires consumed parts of parliament buildings. Presidential offices were stormed. For many, this was no longer just a protest, it was a revolution. With chaos in the streets, Prime Minister Oli resigned and reportedly fled the capital. For the first time in years, Nepal was leaderless, leaving a dangerous power vacuum. The army, usually kept out of politics, was deployed to restore order. Soldiers patrolled Kathmandu, airports were shut down, and curfews were declared. But even military control couldn't silence the voices demanding change. To truly understand this crisis, we need to step back, because the fire burning in Nepal isn't just about a social media ban. It's about deeper, long-standing issues that have been building for decades. Nepal has faced political turbulence for much of its modern history. In 2006, after a decade-long Maoist insurgency, the monarchy was abolished, and Nepal became a federal democratic republic. Hope was high. But in the years since, instability has become the norm. Prime ministers rise and fall almost annually. Corruption scandals plague governments. Promises of economic development rarely reach ordinary people. For young Nepalis, opportunities are scarce. Millions leave to work in the Middle East, Malaysia, or India, sending remittances back home. Those who stay face unemployment, weak infrastructure, and limited political voice. So, when the government shut down their last platform for expression, social media. Resentment that had been simmering for years finally boiled over. In many ways, this uprising is less about technology and more about identity. The youth of Nepal are saying, "We want to be heard. We want a system that works for us. We want dignity and fairness." This is why the protests have not died down, even after the ban was lifted. The people want real change, not just cosmetic fixes. The human cost of this crisis is staggering. In less than a week, over 25 lives have been lost. More than 600 people have been injured. Hospitals in Kathmandu and other cities are overwhelmed. Families are grieving sons and daughters who were only in their teens or 20s. Police officers, too, have faced casualties, caught in the cycle of violence. And beyond the numbers, there is trauma. A generation of Nepalese has seen their streets turned into battlegrounds. Trust in institutions, already fragile, has been shattered. The very fabric of society is under strain, and the question remains, how can this wound be healed? Now, with the Prime Minister gone and the army in control, Nepal faces a crossroads. Protest leaders and civil society groups have proposed former Chief Justice Sushila Karki to head a transitional government. Karki is respected for her integrity and independence, and many see her as a unifying figure. A transitional authority could stabilize the country, organize new elections, and begin tackling corruption head-on. But forming such a government won't be easy. Political elites, many of whom benefit from the status quo, may resist. The army, now holding the reins of security, might be reluctant to give up control too quickly. So, what does the future look like for Nepal? The truth is, it depends on the choices made in the coming weeks. If leaders listen to the voices of young people, if reforms are made, and if justice is delivered, Nepal could emerge from this crisis stronger, with a renewed sense of unity. The protest could mark a turning point, a chance to reset the country's democratic path. But if the demands are ignored, if the army tightens its grip, or if elites continue to cling to power, Nepal could face even deeper instability, risking not just protests, but prolonged unrest, economic collapse, and social division. In many ways, Nepal's crisis reflects a universal struggle, the battle between an old political order and a new generation demanding its place. And like so many moments in history, it's the courage of ordinary citizens that will determine how this story ends. Nepal is a nation at a crossroads. In just days, the country has witnessed pain, courage, and resilience. The world is watching. But ultimately, the future of Nepal will be decided not in international halls of power, but on the streets of Kathmandu, in the voices of its youth, and in the choices of its leaders. From crisis, there can be renewal. From division, unity. And from despair, hope. The road ahead for Nepal is uncertain, but one truth remains. The spirit of its people is unbreakable. From crisis, there can be renewal. From division, unity. And from despair, hope. The road ahead for Nepal is uncertain, but one truth remains. The spirit of its people is unbreakable.